What's up, guys? Hey, this is gonna be just a little bit of a different video, and I'm in my home. I'm actually home alone. My wife is out at an event. She's had an incredibly hectic week, and I was sitting here thinking I've got a few videos that hopefully will come next week. You'll be able to catch those. One about AI, a couple people about dealing with faith. It's going to be a really cool week. I'm excited about next week, being able to get back and do some videos. But as I was thinking, I was like, it feels weird to do one of those videos in my home because it's such a different setup, and like my head is like chopped off of this thing, and like, and so I was like, I want to, and I might do this more often, but I was like, you know what? I think it would be really interesting to just kind of let you in to my space. And honestly, to be completely honest with you, this video is more for me than it is even you. But I feel like transparency, authenticity, just being real is like a good thing. I'm not going to give you like nasty details or anything like that, but I was thinking about it, and right before I hit record, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. There's been a lot of people doing youth ministry, doing young adult ministry, and I even talked to somebody like last week. Man, I think I'm called to be a pastor. I think I'm called to be a leader. I think I'm called to do these things. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. And so I'll just be honest with you guys. Like, I have messed up this week in a lot of ways. I haven't been supportive where I need to be of my family. Work coming back off of a break has been just really tough. And I want people, this video, like I said, is more for me, but it's also for people who think from the outside, or think like, man, ministry seems so cool. It seems so great to be a pastor. It seems so awesome. I'm a first generation pastor. I've got some family that I married into that have done ministry for a long time, but like I myself am a first generation pastor. And I wish that I would have been able to see, and honestly, you can't until you're in it, but I wish I would have been able to see what that looks like on a day-to-day basis for my family, for myself. My wife said something even today that really struck me, and I don't know, I think it's just real. She said, you sometimes seem like you're overworked. Not necessarily overworked. You just have a lot to do. And it seems like you never can find rest. And so you just end up constantly carrying like a weight, but it's not like a spiritual weight and all the things that pastors are supposed to do. It's more of like a weight of like just feeling overwhelmed. And to be honest, I'm still trying to carry that well. Still trying to find not the balance. Somebody said you don't have balances, you have rhythms in your life. And I think that's so true, because you're never going to find a balance. It's always going to be out of balance somewhere at some point in time. But if you can find rhythms, then you can kind of be in a better spot. I just realized I'm kind of off center, so I'm going to center up. But I think I wish somebody would have helped me to see that your calling, yes, I've always been able to like put my family first. I've always been able to prioritize them. Like, I'm not like sacrificing them for meetings or for other things, but like there comes a real thing of like, I am trying to figure out how to unplug better. And I understand why so many people who get into ministry 10, 15, 20, 30 years have a tough time removing their identity outside of just what they do and their pastoring and all that stuff, because I'm finding it difficult to unplug from that. Not that I don't take meetings after hours, or I, doing things that are like sacrificing my family on the altar of ministry. But I think it's like bringing work home, bringing ministry home, the vocation of pastoring, bringing that home. And I love what I do, and I love that I get to do it, but I want to be better, and I want to be healthier, and I want to be in a spot where I'm not carrying those things the way that I am now. I think is like, to be completely honest. And man, I just don't want to have the story that so many pastors can kind of fall into, where ministry sort of consumes them from the inside. And if you're in like school, or you're in an internship, or you're like looking, maybe you just are feeling like you're called to this thing, it is super difficult to not fall into that like every day. And I feel like I'm getting better at it, even though like I said, like this week I've just been not good. And if you're in that camp, I'm not here to scare you out of your calling, and I'm not here to like make it seem like it's all doom and gloom. Like, I'm really in a good spot. I really hope that nobody like comes at me and is like, "Are you okay? Like, do you need a break? Or do you?" No, like I'm genuinely good. I'm just kind of talking out loud of like what it looks like to be a pastor when you're not in front of a congregation, when you're not doing ministry, that kind of stuff. And so I don't want to make this too long of a video, but man, if you're feeling like you're called to ministry, if you're feeling like, hey, this is something that like I feel like God is moving me to, be prepared to fight battles that other people don't necessarily have to fight. Because if you work a job where you have a 9 to 5 and you get to clock out, you might carry some assignments home and work from home in that way. But as far as the thinking about it or breathing it or living it, that kind of stuff, you don't, without ambition, like personal ambition, you're not going to have that a ton. But with ministry, every phone call, every conversation, every text message, there's a little bit of you yourself that carries it. And I just don't feel like I've carried it well this week. And so like, if you're like one of my students watching this, you're a young adult, like, I don't want to make it weird, but like, sorry, like I messed up this week. I really feel like I have. I feel like I've been really lacking the ability to connect with the people that I'm supposed to be serving well, to not take the weight of like, man, there's somebody in my church that I have approached them because I haven't texted them back, but it's been a long time. And like, there's this element of like, I beat myself up. And it's not that I like carry it and in turn like do something weird with my family or whatever, where I'm like yelling and screaming all the time. But I feel like sometimes the stress of ministry, the stress of carrying stuff like that, can make the dynamic really, really difficult. I feel like I'm communicating better, like with my wife. I feel like I'm communicating better with my family, but like I still don't have it all figured out, man. And I know I'm not supposed to. There's going to be an element that I never will. I get all of that. But maybe you're watching this, maybe you're feeling called to ministry, maybe you're just in ministry and you want to look at the other side of what this looks like. And, you know, I've been in ministry now 6.5 years full time, but I mean, I've been volunteering since I was 12. And I want to be an encouragement because I'm not discouraged by this. Like, and I'm not like disqualified in ministry. It's not like anything crazy. It's just I wanted to be a little bit more transparent, a little bit raw, because I was like, you know, I really don't want to talk about these things that like feel like more of like a different video. I wanted to talk about this because it's a real part, man. And, you know, I've built this YouTube channel to talk about real things and to try to bring an authentic perspective to, you know, people struggling with their faith or having opinions about stuff, or, you know, being able to have conversations with non-Christians. I built this whole thing off of authenticity. And so I don't know if I'm going to do this very often, if ever again, but who knows? And so let me know, like, if you're in ministry, let me know what you're going through. And if you're not, maybe you have a calling, I want you to be able to see that, like, there are times where you get to the end of the week, like I am, sitting at home, got my dogs, they're asleep, and I'm like, I really just I didn't do well this week. But I hope that you know this, and this is how I'm going to end it. I hope that you know that you can be secure enough to recognize, like, dude, this just wasn't a good week. I wasn't present enough. I wasn't able to really value my family the way that I should have. Like, Macy straight up asked for help today, and I like shut it down. Like, I messed up. But I'm secure enough to know, like, there's a new day tomorrow, and God's mercies are new every morning, and we can learn and grow. And so I'm not in a place of like discouragement. I'm not in a place of like dreading going to the church, or, you know, like, I'm so excited about what we're doing for Christmas and all that stuff. Like, it's so cool, but it's a very real place to be sometimes. And I think that's cool. I think that's okay. And so let me know where you're at, man. Even if you're not in ministry, just like, let me know. Let's just do a health check. Like, how are you doing? But appreciate you guys. I know it's a little bit of a different video. If this is something that's like completely like never do this again, just let me know and I'll save them in the unlisteds. But have a great rest of your evening. God bless. Appreciate you. Peace.